Okay, so Cutter, thank you for being here with us. And please let us know about yourself and when did you first start to sing, and how has your music journey transpired in all these years?
So I started singing in church. It was probably around the age of 13,
Hmm.
and we used to do like little church competitions and like sing for each other and stuff. And then I picked up guitar around 14.
Hmm.
Started playing with that and just fell in love with it from then on. Every night I'd be playing guitar, and then later on in the years, I formed me a band from the high school,
Hmm.
and we
Hmm.
we met up and played during the week and stuff,
Hmm.
and then it turned into this.
Absolutely. And Cutter, do you come from a musical family where any of your family members have also been into singing before you?
I don't. The only people that play music in my family are two cousins, and they only play guitar.
Okay, okay. So is that where the inspiration for guitar came?
Yes, it is one of my cousins.
Okay, that's lovely. And Cutter, you said that you have been part of a band. So how different is it to be a solo singer compared to how, when you're playing in a band and there are multiple people with whom you have to coordinate? So which is more challenging if I was to ask you?
Yeah, it's more challenging for me because I'm so used to my buddies being around me playing
Hmm.
and stuff. So I'm getting settled into that
Hmm.
new world of, oh,
Hmm.
this is a new crowd, new people, new band, and this is
Hmm.
me. So I'm just getting used to that.
Okay, and talking about the audition tape of yours on the American Idol, so you played Here Without You, and like, why did you choose to go with this song, and what sort of a preparation go into preparing you for the auditions?
Yeah, so I picked that song because I mean, that's what I grew up listening to, and that's kind of the genre of music I make is sort of that rock, um, alternative rock,
Hmm.
but my country accent
Hmm.
and like my country writing turns it
Hmm.
country.
Hmm.
But I picked that one and just was singing in the bathroom, just practicing that song over and over again, trying to make it sound to
Hmm.
the best of my ability.
Okay, that's lovely. And I suppose that you definitely would have performed the song with your band or even before in front of an audience. So, how different was it like performing in front of a live audience where you're not competing for a show compared to performing in front of three esteemed judges where your performance is being telecast for an international audience? So, which was more nerve-wracking for you?
Definitely singing in front of the three judges. Because I grew up listening to all three of them
Hmm.
when I
Yep.
was little.
Hmm.
So it's just like you're in a room and you're trying to get that golden ticket. So
Hmm.
you already got that on your mind,
Hmm.
and then you got three uh, judges that you grew up
Hmm.
listening to. So and it's just like, okay, I gotta somehow reel them in with this song. So it's very nerve wracking, but it's very also rewarding
Hmm.
once you do get that, and it's a good feeling.
Absolutely. So while you were there singing in front of people who have been your inspiration in your music journey so far, and but now you're there singing in front of them, so you definitely must have been very nervous, as you just mentioned. So what did you do to calm yourself to make sure that that nervousness is not seeping into your performance?
Yeah, I just try to remember why I came here and why I'm doing this and who
Hmm.
I'm doing this for.
Hmm.
You know, so I just kind of keep that on my head and just try to do the best I can. We've got a bunch of powerful singers, in the
Absolutely.
top 20.
Hmm.
So, you know, I'm just very blessed to be
Hmm.
standing with them.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, it's I just kind of keep my head on my shoulders and just keep my head in the game too.
Hmm. Okay, so when you finally had the golden ticket for yourself and you realized, okay, you're getting further with the show, how did it feel? Was it relieving? Was it just made you realize, okay, so now the competition is gonna get more tough for you? So what was your feeling then?
It's exactly how I'm feeling. It's gonna get more tough.
Hmm.
It's so every time, every round, I try to incorporate
Hmm.
something. new, give them a little bit something different, just to kind of showcase how
Hmm.
versatile I can be.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, just trying to hang in there with all the other
Hmm.
people because they're awesome.
Okay, and Cutter, being part of a band for all these years, has it given you a different sort of an edge while you're there singing? Is that one of your strongholds that you imply in your solo singing while you're performing for all the rounds in the show?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
So I meant to ask that you have been you have been playing in a band. So how has the idea like how the experience of playing in a band helped you perform better while you're there on the show?
Yes, it's very it's trained me to know what to expect and like to stay on beat, because a lot of people they haven't played with a band, so they're like, you know, asking it's kind of different for them, but I was lucky enough to have a band to kind of stay in that pocket and just know what to expect.
Okay, that's lovely. And Cutter, as you mentioned that they were, while you're there in the top 20, they're all such phenomenal singers, very talented, very experienced, each to their own, like they have their amazing talent of theirs. So, what is it that sets you apart from other singers? In a sense, like what are your strong points that you imply to each performance of yours?
So I think the strong thing that I have is I have that powerful growl and grit to my voice that
Hmm.
sets me apart from everyone else.
Hmm. Hmm.
Uh, I'm not really a soul singer. I'm
Hmm.
a power singer,
Okay, okay.
and I just kind of keep that as my brand.
Hmm. Okay, that's lovely. And Cutter, while you're there in a competitive show, it's a reality competitive show, and each round means that one of them has to go back home. It could be anybody. So, does the thought of elimination ever bother you? And if it does, how do you overcome that?
Uh, it does bother me, a bit because we've all became good friends
Hmm.
and we're like family now and we
Hmm.
love each other. But we hate seeing somebody go. So I
Hmm.
mean, I want to stay
Hmm.
so bad. So I'm hoping, we can make something where I wish everybody could make it, really. But
Absolutely, yes. Okay, so this is a compare. This is a form of competition. One of them is going to win, and others, maybe they don't. And so, in this very competitive field, how do you keep yourself motivated? That okay, I have to go out and put my best performance out there without really worrying a lot about what the result is going to be.
yeah, you just got to go out there and do your thing. Do what you know to do and what you've been practicing for,
Hmm.
and just kind of, as my coach used to say whenever I played sports, was you practice what you play.
Hmm.
So that's what I try to incorporate.
Okay, and Cutter, with your experience as a band player, you are a guitarist and now you're singing in a reality show. So, what is it that you enjoy most? Like, or being part of a band or just being a solo singer where you have so many fans looking at you?
Either way, I think both are great. Whether I'm playing with a band, and I'm by myself, or if I'm playing acoustic guitar sitting on a stool. I think it's all fun. I just love being able to touch people and play good music for people.
Absolutely. And when you made your appearance at the show and which has such a wide following, so how did the interaction with the people on social media or people out there who know you change? Like did people come up to you and ask for your selfie? Did they recognize you out there when you were just, minding your own business? How did it happen?
Yeah, there was a couple selfies. I love that though, and a couple little autographs here and there. And it makes me happy to know that I make someone else happy to make their day a little bit better or something. So.
Okay, and Kata, talking about the kind of music you perform the most into, you said that you have the sense of country music, you lean towards more towards that. So, is there anything specific about that sort of a genre that has drawn you towards it, or was this the very first genre in which you started performing?
Actually, I started performing rock music,
Hmm.
and I started listening to rock music at a young age. That's why I have, my heart's in rock,
Hmm.
and but that country, my granddad kind of kind of put me in love with country
Hmm.
because it'd just be on the radio every time he picked me up. So that was like good memories back then.
Hmm.
And so I kind of include both of those together since I like them both.
Absolutely. So, who are your favorite rock and country singers, people, artists whom you aspire to be and whom, artists you take a lot of learning from? So, if you can share about them.
So rock artists would be Nickelback,
Hmm.
and country artist would be Jason Aldean. And I love the way that Jason Aldean has that rock
Hmm.
edgy vibe to his country songs,
Hmm.
and I just love the attitude and the
Hmm.
and just how Nickelback fans have a good time when they go to their show.
Hmm.
That's what I want to to do.
Absolutely. And taking from what you just mentioned, what do you do to make sure that your fans, your audience are having a good time at your show when your band is performing?
Yeah, so you just gotta get a little wild on that stage a little bit, run around, get some people hyped up.
Okay, so you enjoy your show is what I would like to mention it as,
Oh
like
yeah,
when you're
yeah,
performing. Okay.
we
That's
all have a good time.
that's lovely. And are there any songs that you would literally like you very eagerly want to perform as you proceed ahead with the show from your favorite artists?
Um, Possibly, if I make it further into the round, might might switch it up a little bit. Who knows? Give them something that.
That's very good to know. And Cutter, whenever an artist is out there performing a song by any of their favorite artists, I think the biggest challenge in a cover is that they are not supposed to copy it, but also put their individuality out there, but at the same time honoring the original singer. So how do you make that balance whenever you're performing a song by your favorite artist?
Yeah, that's hard to do. Because you don't want to steer it away too much from what it is. I just kind of add little bitty things to change up the song because people when you play someone else's song, it's like that for a reason. And so I try not to hinder with it.
Okay, that's lovely. And Cutter, are you also into songwriting, or have you tried it, or do you have your plans of trying songwriting soon?
Yes, I do write songs. I've been living in Nashville for about a year and a
Hmm.
half, and we've been writing songs with a group of guys, and just writing with really whoever I can up there, and coming out with some good songs. I can't wait to showcase them.
That's lovely. And so these songs also fall into the rock and the country genre?
Yes, ma'am, they do.
Absolutely, that's lovely. And as we're approaching towards the end of the interview, my next last question to you would be that it's a very competitive field, and most of the people who want to make it further, they feel very scared of getting rejected, of opportunities falling out, of the criticism that they might face from the public. So, what is this one advice you would like to give to an aspiring singer who is talented, has aspirations, but is also scared?
Yeah, well, everyone's gonna have haters. Everyone's gonna have people who don't like their style. The thing that you got to keep in mind is, God puts you in a specific spot of where He wants you, and He gives you these talents, and you just got to believe in yourself and know how worthy you are,
Hmm.
and just keep your head in the game and just do what you know what to do.
Absolutely, that's very lovely. And Kadra, it was absolute pleasure to have this conversation with you, and we are eagerly looking forward to all the good performances you will be having for us on the show. So I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much for having me.